Hi everyone, it's Wheezy, and I'm beyond thrilled to welcome you back to another gripping episode on this roller coaster journey of unraveling the Daily Mirror's phone hacking secrets. In our last video, we exposed the shocking truth behind Prince Harry's court case victory and the media's manipulative tactics. If you haven't watched it yet, make sure to catch up. The link is in the comment section, and I will share the video on our community page for ease of access. Now we're diving even deeper into the web of intrigue, picking up from where we left off. The story continues, and trust me, you're not going to believe what comes next. We are peeling back the layers of corruption, connecting the dots between Piers Morgan, Princess Diana, and the royal family. If you thought the last video was eye opening, you're in for a treat. Without further ado, let's jump back into the saga and uncover the secrets that have been hidden for far too long. Are you ready? Last thing we discussed in our last video was how Piers Morgan became Daily Mirror's editor after scoring what was seen then as the scoop of the century. What was the scoop? Piers Morgan and a senior reporter named Gary Jones had paid a senior police officer hundreds of thousands of pounds for an investigative report which uncovered anonymous phone calls which had been made by Princess Diana. What was in those phone calls? We don't have the information on that, but the timeline suggests that dangerous things were discussed in the phone calls because not too long after Princess Diana died. We'll come back to this later on. Please note that while the information being shared in this video has been the subject of court cases resulting in several convictions and are matters of public record, the information we're discussing has not been verified by myself independently. Therefore, I invite you to do your own research before you act on any of the information we are discussing here. Okay, let's continue. This disclaimer is very important. As a budding YouTuber, I don't want to be taken anywhere I don't want to go. Now, here's where it gets murky, or should I say, this is where it gets murkier. Evidence points to Gary Jones as the mastermind behind the paper's covert operations. He was using the sketchy detective agency, Southern Investigations, to dig up information unlawfully. And guess what? This same agency had been on the News of the World payroll back in the 1980s when Piers Morgan was calling the shots. So, guys, what do we have? We've got Piers Morgan of Daily Mirror, the editor. We've got Gary Jones, who is a senior reporter. What does Gary Jones do today? He is the current editor of Daily Express. Okay, just hold on to that thought. We're coming back to it further along in the video. The detective agency in question was led by a character named Jonathan Rees and had a very dark past. Rees was a suspect in the murder of his partner Daniel Morgan in 1987. And guess who filled Daniel's shoes? Former Scotland Yard detective Sergeant Sid Fillery. Fillery had been part of the homicide team investigating Jonathan Rees's partner, Daniel Morgan, until his superiors realized he was a friend of Rees. Guys, what does that say about the character of this man? And can we see how closely connected the police are to what is currently going on? Southern Investigations was the go to for Gary Jones and the Mirror, churning out one scandalous scoop after the other. Anti-corruption detectives at Scotland Yard launched Operation Two Bridges, exposing the truth. Press Gang revealed that Daily Mirror scoops were obtained through corrupt methods. This includes the article Daily Mirror had published, which divulged confidential mortgage details of the committee setting interest rates in the country. Byline Times also confirmed an earlier article exposing an assault on the Bank of England, where Southern Investigations illegally blagged information from banks and building societies. Wondering what blagging means? It's when you deceive your way into unauthorized information. Think calling my bank, pretending to be me, and getting the goods illegally. To cover their tracks, Southern Investigations sent doctored invoices to the Mirror's accounts department. But hold on. Southern Investigations appear not to have done a good job of covering their tracks because the press gang got their hands on a confidential statement sent to Gary Jones, marking it for your eyes only. This confidential statement showed the real details of the transaction between Gary Jones on behalf of the Mirror Group and Southern Investigations. And according to Byline Times, this was just scratching the surface. Before we continue, please take a moment to subscribe to this channel if you have not already done so. When you subscribe to this channel, you give this content a chance of reaching a wider audience. How is it possible that I have had 5,600 new viewers this month and yet I'm still at 1,883? Only a third of the people who watch my content have subscribed. Go on, please subscribe. It really helps my channel. Also, click on the like button and the notification bell. These seemingly simple tasks are more helpful than you know. And thank you to the people who responded to my call to subscribe to the Invictus Games 2025 YouTube channel. I saw a bit of movement on their channel. May I crave your indulgence to please go over to that channel to subscribe. Let's make it our mission to grow the channel to at least 1,000 subscribers so that they can start generating income as soon as possible. Also, let's flex our influence to the Invictus Games, though we are sure that they know it. But the attacks coming in the new year when the Daily Mail cases are going to be heard is going to be a spectacle to behold. And I expect all Prince Harry and Meghan's holdings to be under attack. So, what we can do to shore things up from our end from here will be worth it next year. As we all know, the smear campaign is designed to destroy Harry and Meghan's reputation so that their businesses and charities are ruined and they don't have any power to fight back against the powers that have been oppressing them for years. Guys, this is what is at stake here. So let's do our bit. All right, continuing on. We are diving into the summer of 1999, where the hustle and bustle of Southern investigations in South London turns into a covert operation spectacle. Picture this. Anti-corruption detectives from Scotland Yard are on a mission, and the main character in this drama is none other than Jonathan Rees, a man juggling both legit gigs and some shady business on the side. While he's clocking hours on routine legal tasks, a growing chunk of his time is dedicated to fetching confidential information for a price, selling it to big shot newspapers like the News of the World and the Mirror Group. Now, here's the twist. Little does Rees know, every single word uttered in his office on that ominous July the 6th, 1999 is getting caught on tape. Thank you, Operation Two Bridges. Operation Two Bridges was a dual action initiative with two goals. First up, it was to crack the mystery surrounding the 1987 unsolved murder of Jonathan Rees' partner, Daniel Morgan, that we had spoken about earlier. Second, it was on a mission to put the brakes on Southern investigations corrupting the police force. An inside scoop from Scotland Yard later leaked information to BBC's Graham McLagan, laying out the concerns about Rees and his partner in crime, ex-Metropolitan Police Detective Sid Fillery. Graham McLagan wrote a book about all of this titled Bent Coppers, and he was furiously sued for defamation by the police. He said, they are not described lightly, labeling them as alert, cunning, and devious individuals with a deep knowledge of investigative methods and connections within the police force. Now, picture this. On this pivotal Tuesday, Rees thinks he's having a hush-hush chat with Gary Jones of the Daily Mirror, spilling the beans about invoices totaling a whopping £16,991. This hefty sum covers various tasks, including almost £6,000 for some seriously shady itemized printouts of phone calls. Get this. Rees is downright casual about bending the rules, openly admitting to their illegal activities. As the day rolls on, sparks fly between Rees and Jones, revealing tension over the lack of detail on the invoices tied to those fishy printouts. Jones, caught in the crossfire from the paper's accounts department, faces a dilemma: spill more info or keep it under wraps. And here's the $1 million question hanging in the air. Was Piers Morgan, chilling in the editor's corner office at Canary Wharf, completely clueless about Jones's under the table dealings? The plot thickens, raising eyebrows about just how much the higher ups at Daily Mirror knew or didn't know. Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're diving deeper into the September of 1999, and Operation Two Bridges is taking a gripping turn. The bug planted in Southern Investigations offices unveils a dark plot cooked up by none other than Jonathan Rees. Guys, brace yourself. This isn't your average conspiracy. In the midst of a messy custody battle for a client, Rees teams up with a corrupt cop to drop Coca Cola, you know, the white stuff that gets you high, into the estranged wife's car, all in a bid to score a drug conviction and tag her as an unfit mom. Mhm. Yes, guys, these are the kind of people we are dealing with. Enter the authorities swooping in to bust Rees and his client, landing them both with hefty 7-year sentences. The crooked cop doesn't escape either, bagging a 5-year stint behind bars. This time, though, Sid Fillery, Reese's partner in crime, got a pass, steering clear of this particular mess. While this drama unfolds, the crackdown on illegal news gathering kicks into high gear, netting Doug Kempster, a Sunday Mirror reporter. Police documents spill the beans on a collective desire among senior officers in the police to nail journalists and private investigators, corrupting their ranks with substantial prison terms. However, the Crown Prosecution Service, that is the courts, decides to give Kempster a pass, sending shockwaves through the Mirror Group's upper echelons. Despite the arrests, Piers Morgan's Daily Mirror continued its questionable practices, with Rees cooling his heels behind bars. The paper turned to another private investigator, Steve Whittemore. Steve Whittemore eventually faced charges for Data Protection Act breaches in 2003. Records seized from him contained information confirming that he had been asked to look up the address details for Hugh Grant and his former girlfriend, Elizabeth Hurley. Here's the kicker: the paper had already shelled out a cool £92,000 with Whittemore before he got nabbed. In a jaw-dropping expose titled "Who Done It?", the Mirror's dirty laundry got aired. Hold on to your hats if you've got any left. Mirror reporter Tom Newton-Dunn, who is currently the Sun's political editor, apparently commissioned work from Whittemore. Records spill the beans on Newton-Dunn being the Mirror's go-to guy for a sketchy criminal record check on parliamentary candidate Adrian Fluke, who later became the Tory MP for Taunton. For those not in the UK, this is a small town in the UK. While doing my research for this story, I did some research into this Tom Newton Dunn character, and he is exactly like Piers Morgan, and from all accounts has no regard for the truth, and indeed worked with Talk TV as a presenter. Remember this slide? Well, it's back and now updated. What do you notice? So we've got Piers Morgan, Daily Mirror, now presenter with Talk TV. Gary Jones, Daily Mirror. Gary Jones is now the current editor of Daily Express. And then we've now got Tom Newton Dunn, Daily Mirror. He is now the current political editor of the Sun newspaper. And he has got stints with Talk TV as well. This is why we say that there is a reason why the tabloids did not report on Prince Harry's hacking wing. Apart from the obvious intention to hide the truth from the public, they are all partners in crime, allegedly. Curiouser and curiouser. Now, as the magnifying glass zooms in on Piers Morgan's stint as the Daily Mirror's editor, the Leveson inquiry spills the beans on widespread phone hacking at the paper from 1998 to 2000. James Hipwell, a financial journalist in the midst of showbiz reporters, spills the tea, describing hacking as a bog standard tool in the journalistic toolbox. Hipwell may not have had the smoking gun on Piers Morgan, but he insists the boss couldn't be oblivious, claiming nothing happened without Morgan's nod. Morgan, though, dismissed it as sour grapes, throwing in Hipwell's insider dealing conviction for good measure. Hoo-wee! Are your ears burning yet? And this is just the second or third layer. However, the Leveson inquiry disagreed with Piers Morgan and found James Hipwell credible, raising red flags about potential phone hacking on Morgan's watch. And the plot thickens. Operation Golden, a Scotland Yard probe into phone hacking at the Mirror Group in 2015, has Piers Morgan and 14 other journalists facing tough questions. The investigation, sparked by civil claims and fresh evidence, unveils disturbing practices at the Daily Mirror. A court judgment ordered the Mirror Group to cough up 1.2 million in damages to 8 victims, 6 of them caught in the crossfire during Piers Morgan's editorial heyday. Guys, there is more. A whole lot more. In fact, it's a franchise if you're thinking about it being a movie. I thought about breaking this part of the video into several pieces just because of the sheer amount of information being shared. However, if I do that, we will never get done with this story. But I've gone on for as long as it's practical to do so in this video, and I must stop now. So, please don't forget to subscribe to the Invictus Games 2025 YouTube channel, and of course my channel. Stay tuned and we'll be back soon with the next installment in this story. Until next time, bye! Bye!